Wiz and Say No, tell us a little about yourselves.
I'm Saino. I'm an artist.
I'm Wiz, I'm the producer.
Yeah, basically, I got my start doing music basically with a local record company in St. Louis, Playboy Records, where I met Wiz.
Yeah, that's actually where I got my start at too.
So we basically kind of come from the same background as far as the music goes. We both got our own reasons why we decided to pursue music. Basically, my start was basically coming from just my family and my family having a musical background.
With me, my musical background was my grandfather played the saxophone, and that's really how I got my start in music. Like, I loved music as a child anyway. In my elementary school, I played sax, played clarinet, played some more instruments, and you know, that was my musical background. That's how I first got my start, but I've been loving music since day one.
Same here, like my uncle was a Grammy-nominated guitarist, but growing up in New Orleans, you was, you know, basically exposed to a lot of different forms of music, from the bounce music to the bands, to the jazz, to the blues, you know, so definitely have a musical background and a musical presence. I always had that with
Yeah. I pretty much really started taking producing serious when I was in high school, and you know, like I started off doing little beats.
Wiz, what motivated you for this track?
Well, what motivated me to make We Don't Luv'em was basically O had hit me up and he was like, man, I need a hit. And I had came up with a couple of different tracks, but I wasn't feeling it. It was made by accident, actually. It was made by accident. That's all that I can say.
Say No, what was your reaction from the track?
Yeah, so basically, like Wiz said, I felt like I had a lot of records that were strong records and that people liked, but I felt like I needed like Wiz said, that record with the it factor. So when he hit me up, he was like, man, I got this record, man, it's gonna go, you gonna like it. So when I went over his crib or whatever, and he played it, I'm like, okay. At first, when I heard you know what I'm saying, the content of it, I'm like, cause you know, sometimes it'd be hard to push those records that do, you know, have like certain words in it and stuff like that. But I mean, once I got to think about it, like Shell Shock was one of my favorite, you know, No Limit records too. So I mean, I felt the same way about May that he felt, and just about that whole movement like he felt. So I definitely liked it. I wanted to add my own little flavor to the hook too. So that's how we always do it. Either he'll come with a concept, and I'll be like, well, let's say this like this instead of saying it like this. And then, you know, so we'll kind of work together on the hook. But I added my little southern style to it too. So I mean, definitely I thought it was a high record. I didn't know it was going to do what it's doing now. But, you know, I definitely was amplified.
For Wiz and Say No, whose idea was it to shoot the video in Texas?
Basically, at the time, we had just came off a show that we did with the homeboy BG, you know, so we had been working with him on some other adventures or whatever. So he suggested that we should rock with this company, A-Time Productions, based out of Austin. So the event, the South by Southwest event, was coming up. So I figured that, well, me and Wiz basically was just talking about it, because I always try to bring all the suggestions and ideas to Wiz, you know what I'm saying, just to get his opinion on it. So when I brought it to Wiz, he was like, yeah, man, I think we looked at their videos and we felt like they could, like, basically give us the quality that we wanted. And then also, a big thing in the STL market is, you know, like, a lot of scenery has been used already, so we didn't really want to have the same look, you know, that a previous video had. So we wanted something that looked different.
What artists or producers inspire you to musically?
For me, it's so many producers that I'm inspired by. I think my number one is the Neptunes. I'm a big fan of Manny Fresh, Jazzy Faye, DJ Toon, Alchemist. I love his tracks. Big fan of 3-6 Mafia. I like the new producers, like I like Sunny Digital. I like Lex. Lex is definitely a hot producer now. And it's so many. Like, I'm inspired by every producer. I just put it like that. If I can put every producer in one pot and put them in myself, I would. Like, I'm just inspired by everybody.
As far as me goes, I'm inspired by the whole No Limit, Cash Money era because I felt like they came from the environment I came from as far as making it out of, basically New Orleans and just the whole poor, poverty-stricken areas, making it out of that to be like millionaires and to be successful artists, to me, is the biggest thing anybody can do. But like, similar to what Wiz said, I'm inspired by anything hip-hop, like from back in the day, like the Summertime song by Will Smith. Like, I used to like that coming up. Like anything hip-hop, anything pop music in general. Like, you might catch me listening to Lenny Kravitz, you might catch me listening to Jimi Hendrix, I'm inspired by music. Like, Bob Marley was definitely one of my favorite artists of all time, but as far as hip-hop goes, if I had to pick one artist that I would be inspired by, to be Jay-Z. And everybody tends to say Jay-Z, but it's not really for his artist, for his artistry or for what he does musically. It's really about how every time I watch him in an interview, he seems like he answered the question exactly how it was supposed to be answered, like in the right way. You never really see him out of his character, out of who he is as an artist or as a person. And, I just think business-wise, he's one of the most major people right now. Also, he make good business moves. And like I said, I think he's just a respectable person. And that's how I try to be. Like, even when you hear my songs, you might not think like, oh man, he's a respectable person. But I do have a college degree, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's something that is a black artist in this game, just musically. That's one thing that you fail to see in a lot of great artists, and that's just a person who's respectable. I kind of try to live my life as if my mama watching or a camera watching me at all times, and that's how he do it. So I'd say Jay-Z, sure.
What are your future musical goals? And if you could do a collaboration with one artist, who would that be?
My future musical goals definitely to be successful within music. I think success defined by me is basically just, reaching as many fans as I could possibly reach. I definitely want to have an international run, though, for sure. I mean, it's not really about being... I don't think I'm one of those artists that just desire to be the platinum artist and nothing like that, even though that is something I would like to do. I think it's more or less just having that influence and having that impact on music and like leaving my mark in music and letting people know that, music is something that means something to me. It's not just a hustle for me. It's something that I actually, believe in. Something that I pray about it every night. Like, that's just something that I feel I was put here to do. But as far as the collaboration goes, if I could do a song with one person, I would say Jay-Z, but I feel like that collaboration is kind of earned. I feel like I want him to reach out to me and say like, yo, like, I respect your music, like I want, because that's what he do. Like, he reach out to most of the new artists. So I guess I would say Jay-Z though, but I definitely want to earn it though. I don't want to just be like, oh, I had it in my budget to work with Jay-Z. I don't even think you can pay with Jay-Z.
What makes I Grind music so dope in your opinions?
They touch everything. They do everything. It's I Grind. Everything. What they do to you? What they do for you?
I think as far as artists goes, man, that's the number one thing that I never can find. That's somebody to grind for me. Somebody to reach other markets for me. I mean, nobody's doing that for what they're doing it for. It's like $5 a month.
$5 a month, $60 a year. You can't beat that. I grind.
Yeah.
I grind.
Yeah, I mean, it's
for any artist that's serious about their music, go to I Grind. Real talk.
I think for real, it's one of those situations to where it's a unique setup as far as for the artist and how they gonna do it. It's not just like, okay, any artist gonna just come on here and just upload their music, and just not be serious about it, because I feel like the cost is basically eliminating a lot of people who won't, be serious about their career and won't put the money into their career. So it's like, it's not really a major cost, but it's kind of like, okay, if you're serious, you can invest this $60. And it's for independent artists, so it's not like the major can come in and just kick me out.
They can't bogart on the independent no more, because I Grind is not just touching, the industry. They touching everybody. So this is like, I Grind is the best thing for an independent artist that's serious. I say this again, that's serious about their music and about their work and about their craft. If you're not serious, don't come to our grind. Don't even click on the website and look at it because you're not serious about it.
But nah. But for real, I think another thing is a lot of people want to go from being independent to major. I think this will almost make it to where some of these majors will be looking at it like, man, it's
I want to
dope
be independent, right?
Yeah. So I think for me, the number one thing is just when I go to these other cities, they gonna be putting the word out for me before I get there. So I might have my own people on there, but it's like they always covering it for me. So